Gerald Allen McClellan is an American former professional boxer who competed from 1988 to 1995. He is a two-time middleweight world champion, having held the WBO title from 1991 to 1992, and the WBC title from 1993 to 1995. McClellan was forced to retire from boxing after a severe brain injury suffered during his final fight in 1995, a loss to WBC super middleweight champion Nigel Benn. Known for his formidable punching power, and one of the highest first-round knockouts ratio in the history of boxing, McClellan was dubbed a miniature Mike Tyson by his promoter, Don King. Tyson himself, while incarcerated, reportedly called McClellan the best fighter in the world. The Ring magazine rated McClellan No. 27 on their list of the 100 greatest punchers of all time. In 2007, McClellan was inducted into the World Boxing Hall of Fame in California, not to be confused with the more widely recognized International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota. As an amateur, McClellan was a four-time Wisconsin Golden Gloves champion, 1984 to 1987, competing mostly in the junior middleweight division. He trained with Kronk Gym, being trained by Emanuel Stewart. After turning pro, he also fought out of a Palmer Park gym run by Sugar Ray Leonard. McClellan turned professional in 1988. Trained by Hall of Fame trainer Emanuel Stewart, his early career was notable for a propensity for quick victories by knockout. Only 2 of his first 29 fights went beyond the third round, although he lost both of those on the scorecard, in 6 rounds against Dennis Milton, 8 against Ralph Ward, in successive fights. However, these proved only a momentary check on his career, as he captured the vacant WBO middleweight title by knocking out John Mugabe in 1 round in 1991. And the WBC middleweight title by knocking out Julian Jackson in 5 rounds in May 1993, after McClellan had survived some brutally hard punches from Jackson in the second and third rounds. McClellan defended the WBC title 3 times, all first-round stoppages, including a rematch with Jackson. In the fall of 1994, McClellan separated from his long-term trainer Emanuel Stewart. McClellan moved up in weight to challenge WBC super middleweight champion Nigel Benn in London on February 25, 1995. The fight was watched by an estimated 17 million people on television, and 10,300 paying spectators. In a savage bout, McClellan knocked Benn out of the ring in round 1, and scored another knockdown in round 8, but each time Benn was able to work his way back into the fight. Throughout the fight, Gerald received several punches to the back of the head, known to be especially dangerous, without referee interference. Referee Alfred Ozero was also roundly criticized for his officiating mistakes, which included impeding the challenger's progress when McClellan was trying to finish off Benn in round 1. McClellan was noticeably blinking repeatedly early in round 10, during which, after receiving a single hard blow from Benn who seemed to throw his shoulder into McClellan's eye, he voluntarily went down, taking a knee again. McClellan took the mandatory 8 count, and the fight was resumed, but he did not throw another punch, and moments later he dropped to his knee for a second time, and allowed Ozero to count him out. After the fight was over, McClellan immediately stood up, and walked to his corner under his own power. He then sat down on the canvas, and leaned against the ring apron, but while being attended to by ring physicians he slumped onto his back, and lost consciousness. McClellan was subsequently strapped to a stretcher, and rushed to the hospital. McClellan had emergency surgery to remove a blood clot from his brain. He spent 11 days in a coma, and was found to have suffered extensive brain damage. He lost his eyesight, the ability to walk unassisted, and was reported as being 80% deaf. Sports Illustrated ran an article about the fight, and its outcome 1 week after the fight. McClellan's family flew to London to be by his side, and he was later flown back to his home country. He has recently recovered some ability to walk with the assistance of a cane, but he has not recovered his eyesight. In addition to being blind, his short-term memory was also profoundly affected. His 3 sisters, particularly Lisa McClellan, are responsible for his care. In a 2011 documentary broadcast by ITV, which originally screened the fight live in the UK, Lisa stated that Gerald is in fact not deaf, but that he has trouble with comprehension when spoken to. Tarek Samaisi, a Kronk Gym fighter, claimed later in an interview that he had sparred with McClellan over a year before the Benn fight, and that after McClellan was hit by a jab thrown by Samaisi, McClellan started to blink hard, and the session had to be stopped. McClellan initially claimed that he was thumbed, but later admitted to Samaisi in the locker room that he was in fact seriously hurt. Sam Acey said that he found it strange that a fighter with McClellan's chin-wearing headgear was being hurt by a jab, and that when he noticed McClellan blinking during the Benn fight in the same way, Sam Acey was immediately aware that McClellan was in serious trouble. Also notable in hindsight was McClellan complaining of getting regular headaches after his first fight with Julian Jackson in May 1993. In the fight, McClellan's chin resisted Jackson's formidable punching power before McClellan won the fight in round 5, but Jackson's punches may have done some damage to McClellan's brain, such as concussions, that were not noticed at the time. McClellan has been the honoree at numerous banquets and award ceremonies, and fellow boxing world champion Roy Jones Jr. often pointed out as a rival middleweight champion during 1993-94. Indeed, McClellan actually beat Jones as an amateur, set up a foundation to help McClellan. Nigel Benn himself has also helped to raise funds for McClellan's treatment, and the two men would meet again for the first time since their bout at a fundraiser held in London on February 24, 2007. Several items were auctioned off at the event, and a total of £200,000 was raised. In May 2012, the World Boxing Council publicly appealed for donations to a trust fund set up in McClellan's name in order to help his sister Lisa maintain his 24-hour care. In July 2017, McClellan took a turn for the worse, and underwent surgery to repair a malfunctioning colon. McClellan now uses a colostomy bag, and incurs colostomy supply expenses of about $500 a month. Former world light middleweight champion Terry Norris, whose Final Fight Foundation acts to protect boxers, made an appeal for the Gerald McClellan Trust, noting, "McClellan's organs are starting to shut down because of his brain injury." Ring 10, a non-profit organization that helps impoverished former fighters, provides McClellan with monthly food credit, and raises funds to assist with payment of other necessities. According to an article in The Observer, McClellan participated in dogfighting. McClellan's trainer and family admitted that McClellan was involved with fighting pit bulls, and on one occasion had used tape to bind the jaws of a Labrador shut before allowing his pet pit bull Deuce to kill it. McClellan has a professional record of 34 fights, with 31 wins and 3 losses.